Alright, are we live? I believe we are live. Start streaming, yes. Okay, good morning. Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is about what happened to date throughout the annals of recorded history. Join us as we delve into yesteryear, not only for important and interesting happenings, but to possibly even answer questions you don't know you have. The sources of this information come from the smart device application Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. And yes, I know I need to figure out about the apps because one app has become into another and I don't know. Anyway, for links to these sources and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. And of course, all links gathered throughout the show will appear post live stream. Anyway, I am of course Aoxander, and you are you, viewer. Today is Sun's Day. Is it? Yeah, it is Sun's Day. November 26, 2023. So let's jump into the history today, shall we? We're starting us off in 43 BC. We have the Second Triumvirate Alliance of Roman leader Octavian, later Caesar Augustus, Marcus Aemilius Lepidus, and Mark Antony was formed. Mark Antony, ooh, that's pretty big. We also have in 783, Austrian Queen Adocina was put in the monastery of San Juan de Parava, where she lived out the rest of her life to prevent her kin from retaking the throne from Mariugauts. Wow, that's one hell of an existence right there. 1363, Vlad III Dracula, the inspiration for Count Dracula the Vampire, you know, the famous one. Vlad III Dracula defeated Bazarab Lyota with the help of Stephen the Great and Stephen V Bathory, and became the ruler of Wallachia for the third time. Wow. 1580, French Huguenots and Roman Catholics signed a peace treaty, and that's pretty big. You know, that they had a major religious, conflict going on, the Huguenots and the Catholics. Yeah, I believe there's even some excommunication going on over there. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And you are?
Golden Loon.
Yeah.
Sorry I'm late. A little bit too much coffee.
Well, you know, if one thing's not running, something else is.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, I was just talking about the Huguenots and the Catholics. They signed a peace treaty. A massive religious conflict.
The who and the who?
The Huguenots and the Catholics.
Who are the Huguenots?
Huguenots, well, let's see here.
Huguenots?
Huguenots versus Catholics. Religious wars in France. War broke out between the Catholic League and the Huguenots in 1562 and continued into 1598.
Wow.
Political unrest between the Huguenots and the powerful Guise family led to the death of many Huguenots, marking the beginning of the Wars of Religion. So,
have you ever heard of the Huguenots?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
well, I don't know. Like,
well,
I mean, like, you know, I've talked about them multiple times on this show. And that's why I said right off the bat I knew, despite it not being highlighted from our source here, this is pretty big, you know. So
sounds like it.
Yeah. Let's see here. 1648, Pope Innocent X condemned the Peace of Westphalia, the treaty that ended the 30 Years' War, recognizing Dutch Republic's independence and Catholic and Lutherans as equal. Ooh. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But give me one moment. Someone's asking me for a link to the YouTube channel, so I'm just going to give him our link tree real quick. So let me toss that here. There we go. Anyway, what else do we got here? 1688, French King Louis XIV declared war on the Netherlands. Oh, well, I didn't mean to read that, actually. I meant this one. King James II escaped back to London. And that's pretty big. He was king. He was the king. That's essentially, like... And
what happened? He escaped back to London?
Yeah, so he was captured. He was imprisoned.
Okay.
You know, by enemies.
Okay.
Like, you know, this was back in the day.
Okay.
This was back in the day where leaders of nations actually, you know, what a concept, fought alongside the men that they sent to go die.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, in doing so, you know, several kings actually died in battle. There's one instance of I think it was like a Roman general or whatever, drowning in a river because he was fully laden in armor, fell in the river, couldn't get back up.
Whoops.
You know?
Yeah,
so,
okay.
And high up, too, you know?
Really?
So, what a concept. You know, the leaders actually working with those they lead.
Yeah.
Huh. You know, but yeah, like, you know, he was captured at one point, and he escaped prison and got back to England. Like, that is major. You know,
what general does that remind you of in World War II? Patton.
Patton? When was he captured?
Not captured.
Well,
his troops.
Well, I mean, that's what generals do. I mean, you know, like Patton, Montgomery, Bradley.
Sorry, I got you off track.
Yeah, MacArthur.
Yeah.
Although Patton really did, you know, get his face in the mud. So yeah. Anyway, 1716. This is interesting. The first lion exhibited in America in Boston. Boston. Yeah. So the first exhibition of a lion, you know, in
captivity.
Yeah. Huh. Well, not in captivity, but in our continent, in America.
Oh.
Yeah. So, we also have 1764. France bans the Jesuit Inord. What is that? Jesuit Inord. So let's see here. The Society of Jesus, or the Jesuits for short, is the religious order of men in the Catholic Church who founded the Georgetown along with many other high schools, colleges, and universities around the world. Oh. Mm-hmm. And France banned that. Okay. That's interesting. If anybody wants more...
like the Jesuits, huh?
Apparently not. I mean, you know, there's, you know, even today, you know, there's something happening right now. Incredible religious conflict.
So Georgetown was founded by the Jesuits.
Apparently, yeah. So
okay,
yeah. 1778, British explorer Captain James Cook was the first European to visit Maui. Let's not forget what happened to Maui. So the fires, you know, and you know, Oprah and The Rock and all that stuff. Surfing. I don't think so. In the Sandwich Islands, which is now Hawaii. So prior to it being known as Hawaii, they were called the Sandwich Islands.
Didn't know that either.
Now you want to know something really interesting.
Okay.
We all know, you know, James Cook, you know, one of the most known explorers throughout all of history.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what he did, but, like, you know, we all know, you know, Hawaiians are, like, you know, stereotypically a peaceful people, you know, like that one guy did Over the Rainbow song, you know.
Okay.
Over the rainbow where birds fly, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did, but he was killed brutally by Hawaiians. Like, killed in a fight with Hawaiians.
Ooh.
Whatever he did to make them turn violent, like, so that's, I find that, funny is not a good word, but I don't know, like hilarious? I don't know, like, whatever he did to piss off, you know, a peaceful people to the point where they murdered him. What did he do? So, anyway... The 1784 Catholic Apostolic Prefecture of the United States was established.
The only thing I can say about Cook is a murder just doesn't fall out of the sky.
True. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, what did he do?
I know, that's exactly what you're saying.
And that's really funny. And someone named Cook dying on the Sandwich Islands.
Okay. Very good.
Whoops. Although you don't cook a sandwich unless it's like a grilled cheese or a panini or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like... or Quiznos, toast it, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, that's interesting. The first Catholic Apostolic Prefecture was established in the U.S. It's basically like a police precinct or something, you know, that's their headquarters in the New World.
Yeah.
Or something. So, 1789, we have the first national Thanksgiving in America, so before Lincoln, what you said a while ago.
Then I have misinformation, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, let's see here.
Well, he may have just declared a day of thanks and tied it in with that.
Yeah, he might have made it a national holiday.
Yeah,
so,
maybe that's it.
Well, this says National Thanksgiving, so wait. Huh. Hold on a second. Did Abraham Lincoln
declare a day of thanks? Make it broader.
See? Pardon me. On October 3rd, 1863, with his victory in mind as well as its cause, President Lincoln issued a proclamation. I do therefore invite my fellow citizens in every part of the United States to set apart and observe the last Thursday of November next as a day of Thanksgiving. So he probably set it as the last Thursday.
Yeah, he set the date for it. To give it,
not really dates, but a day.
Day, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It is the last Thursday of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so we but he didn't create the whole thing. But he had a part of it. You know?
Well, he created the Thursday to give thanks, which is what we do now.
Okay.
Thanksgiving goes back further than that, but he set up the protocol.
Yeah. 1790.
Not entirely wrong.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, like, there really is no such thing as completely wrong and completely right. You're just under a slight misconception, but in some aspects you were still right on the money. So, I mean, like, nobody's perfect. Nobody remembers anything. Everything at least.
I'm perfect. Didn't you know that?
You're Canadian. Anyway, 1791, the first U.S. cabinet meeting held at George Washington's home in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Secretary of State Thomas Jefferson, Secretary of the Treasury Alexander Hamilton, Secretary of War Henry Knox, and Attorney General Edmund Randolph attended. So the first, U.S. cabinet meeting. That's pretty
cool.
I
love out of that, held in George Washington's home. I love that. Wow.
I mean, like, it was the predecessor to the White House.
Yeah.
And actually, you know why we call it the White House?
I don't know.
Because the original name was like the Presidential Palace or something like that. Too opulent, too British.
Yeah,
like
I could see that.
Too mucky muck. Oh,
Yeah.
we're still being led by people in ivory towers. Which we are, but they.
So that doesn't explain how to go to White House.
Well, like, okay.
It was painted white, I guess.
Well,
it was a White House, probably because it was the White House.
The White House called the White House is probably going to be an easy answer. When construction was finished, the porous sandstone walls were whitewashed with a mixture of lime, rice glue, casing, and lead, giving the house its familiar color and name. Okay, so that's why.
So that's it. The White House. It's very descriptive. It's a descriptive name.
Yeah.
And it is white today.
Yeah.
It will always be white.
Yeah. We also have in 1793, pardon me, Republican calendar replaces Gregorian calendar in France. That's interesting.
That's very interesting.
Oh, I mean, especially since they, somewhere down the line later on they went back because the Gregorian calendar is the calendar the world uses for the most part.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Which is, like, I've said this before and I'll say it again, it's really interesting. You look at the world and, like, especially today with all of the divisiveness, all of the animosity, all the hate, everything, but still, money makes the world go around. What's the best way to trade? With universal measurements. Now, granted, we still use the imperial system, but when it comes to trading with other nations and everything, and of course NASA uses metric and all that stuff, but in order to make the world go around, we have, for the most part, universal things. Not just the Gregorian calendar, but, measurements, not just length and width and all this stuff, but weight and
Yeah,
it's remarkable. We don't give it a second thought, ever really. But when you take a step back and look, it is remarkable that we have all these different cultures, classes, and creeds, and we have a couple aspects of everybody's life that's the same. As far as in that, that's remarkable. So, anyway, 1805, official opening of Thomas Telford's Ponce-Sisley Aqueduct, carrying the Llangollen Canal 126 feet above the River Dee, longest aqueduct in the UK and highest canal aqueduct in the world. Wow.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
In 1805, no less.
Yeah. And we still have aqueducts today, like the one in, Southern California.
Yeah. Well, we wouldn't survive down here, especially crops and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Without the aqueduct.
1825. We got the first college fraternity was founded, Kappa Alpha for Union College in New York. So the first college fraternity. Animal House, anyone? Full of fight!
Could have lived without those in college, right?
No, that's all about.
That's what college is, right?
Yeah, that's what all you
forget learning.
Yeah, no, you go there to party and to get all the screw ups out of your system in one hit, So.
And what's your degree in?
Social sciences. No, I don't have a degree. Let's see here. 1831 or 1832, we have the first streetcar railway in America started operating in New York City with a 12-cent fare. And that reminds me, like yesterday, I believe, or the day before, I don't remember, but there was like it was something in 18 whatever, and some restaurant offered like a soup, a steak, of something, and a half a pie for 12 cents.
Because I was going to say that sounds expensive for the time. 12 cents sounds expensive.
Well, I mean, it's the first streetcar service, so it's not going to be cheap. Anything pioneering, it's not going to be cheap, it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be comfortable. So
I wonder what that 12 cents translates into today's dollar.
Well, let's see here. 12 cents 1832. 1832. 12 cents, 1832. 12 cents. Equivalent price. Value of $1832. How much was 12 cents? Okay. How much is it? 1800. About $2.93 today as of 1800. You know. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Not going to get into exacts.
That's,
you know.
That's not cheap, but it's not as expensive as I thought it would be.
No. Like, you know, today, well, I mean, it's more expensive. Bus fare today, I think, is like $2 now. I don't know. Last time I rode a bus, which was like 10 years ago, it was $1.50 or $1.75. I remember when it was like 75 cents. Yeah. You know. So anyway, what else do we have here? 1842, the University of Notre Dame was founded. Yeah. Or Notre Dame, or whatever it is. We all know about that, especially their college football and all that whatnot.
Yeah.
1859, the last weekly installment of Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities was published in literary periodical all the year round. So he published it in segments. That's interesting.
That is. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Well, now we do. 1861, West Virginia was created as a result of dispute over slavery with Virginia. So
they split off.
They seceded from the seceders.
Yeah.
Because Virginia, you know, that was where, you know, what's his face, one of the more prominent figures in all of the Confederacy, that General Lee.
Yeah.
General Lee, his estate, his plantation, was in Virginia, and it later became Arlington National Cemetery, right across the Potomac from our capital. Yeah, we remember his house was there. We were there.
Yeah, that's of course. Yeah, of course. I'm glad you reminded me.
Yeah. That whole cemetery used to be his plantation. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. So it had to be the most northern state to secede to the south.
Yeah, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So, actually, hold on a second. CSS map, Confederate States of America. Give me the images. Okay, hold on a second. Civil War map. Let's see if I can. Here we go. Yeah, that's Virginia right there, the northernmost. Yep. And West Virginia, as we can see right there, is split off. So we have secessionists and sessionists. So.
Yeah, exactly what we started talking about. First. Yeah.
1865, Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll was published in America. Nice.
Yeah.
Too bad our Alice isn't here. You know, that would be great.
Right. So of course we know what she's doing.
Yeah, she's lost in Wonderland.
Working.
That's not a good Wonderland. 1867, the refrigerator railroad car was patented by J.B. Sutherland in Detroit, which, you know, opened up the doors for all sorts of commerce, you know, and all that stuff. Sure. Refrigeration.
Sure.
You know, perishables, whatnot. Yeah. 1867, 1895, Hawaiian Sugar Planters Association formed. Speaking of the Sandwich Islands again.
They used to be huge in sugar cane.
Oh,
That was their big deal. Then the land got too expensive and they moved to Cuba.
Huh. Yeah. 1 year later, 1896, we have the first large indoor football game. University of Chicago defeated the University of Michigan 7-6.
Indoors?
Indoor football game. First large indoor. So not the first, but the first large one.
Wow.
So
I can't imagine they would have that kind of structure, open space.
Well, I mean, Chicago and Michigan, that's up there, you know, and it's, you know, it is November. It's probably snowing.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, you need a cover. So you don't want them slipping on the ice on the field, you know, and fracturing a tibia and bending their leg wrong, you know. So
speaking of snow, there happened to be what they call a snow game on TV yesterday. Not that I cared a bit about it, I just happened to see it and I had to watch it for a while just because my daughter loved snow games. She'd watch any snow game there was just because she loved to see them sliding around. Anyways.
But speaking of snow, by the way, and I saw this a couple days ago, the era of snow days, you know, for school, you know, school is closed, is officially over. You want to know why?
Why? Yeah.
Even if the school's closed, now you can go online.
Oh.
Okay. So now you can't. I mean, you know, if there's one thing they learned from the lockdown and everything, it's the redundancy of having, you know, a business. You know, like if you're working, you're going to a business, and you can do things from home. Then why pay the taxes for the business? you know, as a building for everyone to go to. Just have everybody work from home.
What about the childs that don't have access to computers and stuff at home?
Oh well,
just tough luck.
Yeah,
you're poor, tough luck.
Yeah, no, seriously, that's what I'm saying. Like the world today is not nice. Well, it never has been, but it's especially not nice to those who don't have the technology required for basic living. Like, for example, because I was talking with you the other day about this, about like how everything is going digital, you know, with digital IDs and how they're bringing in all sorts of things and whatnot. I don't want to get too much into any buzzword political topics or anything on this show, but like, for example, in China, in order to even utilize, you know, any public transit or anything, you have to scan, you know, a QR code from your phone, you know, as part of, you know, it's part of the system, you know, like if you pay bus fare, you have to scan, you know, so they know where you're going and all that stuff. Yeah, but whatever. This example specifically, you know, it's this this poor, you know, like old, you know, Chinese man, you know, living out in the boondocks, you know, like a farmer or whatever. Obviously doesn't have a phone, can't use the buses. Just can't use the buses. So, too bad, so sad. Not good. Anyway, moving on up, what do we got here? 1896, this is really cool. Amos Alonzo Stagg of the University of Chicago created the American Football Huddle.
Ooh.
That is big.
And where was he from?
Stagg, University of Chicago.
Wait, where?
University of Chicago, sorry.
Thank you.
Chicago.
Thank you.
Sorry,
I didn't understand it initially.
I don't understand your accent. That's a SpongeBob reference, but no, like you know, the whole huddle up, you know, like it went from football, they do it in everywhere, you know, like in team building exercise, huddle up, join us in creating excitement, juice, you know, like let's go team, you know, created by that guy. That is big, you know. 1898, between now to the 27th. So today's the 26th to the 20th. That's why there's the 27 right there.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
A snow and ice storm over the U.S. killed 455 people. Wow. Yeah.
Doesn't say where, though, just over the U.S.
Well, just, you know, over the U.S.
Man.
If anybody wants to know, they can figure out, you know, actually, you know what? Let's see here. Let me do a surface level scratch with that. Cold waves, northers and blizzards in the U.S. Okay, well, this is not a winter's tale. That's something else. Okay, Earth is space Australia.
It was one heck of a nor'easter. Let's put it like that.
Okay, yeah. All right. Anyway, if anybody knows more about this, where exactly it was, what states it was over, please let us know in the comment section. While that was happening, the SS Portland, the Titanic of New England, left for Cape Cod, shipwrecked off Cape Ann. All 192 on board were killed. Well, at least it lived up to its name, although it didn't sink. So, but still. 1905, the first Australasian, so that's Australia and Asian, like they combine, you know, the whole, that area of the world together, you know, Australia, Asia, all that stuff. Championships men's tennis in Melbourne, Rodney Heath defeated Albert Curtis 4-6, 6-3, 6-4, 6-4. All right. 1913, Russian kingdom forbid Polish congregation of speakers. That's not nice. So if you're a Polish and you want to talk to people, nope, not allowed in Russia or in the Soviet Union, whatever. Actually, no, this was before the Soviet Union, so never mind. 1914, the battleship HMS Bulwark exploded at Sheerness Harbor, England, killing 788. I mean, it was a battleship, man, you know?
Yeah.
And, yikes. What was that, like, not too long ago, that dock that just blew up? Like in Turkey or whatever? Like, not in Turkey.
I don't know what you're...
The Middle Eastern, like, the dock and some facility exploded.
How recent? Just
like a couple of years, like 5 years ago or whatever.
I don't.
It was a big thing. Hold on a second. I gotta look this up. Dock explosion, Middle East. I think it's the Middle East or something. Lebanon, Beirut. The Beirut port explosion. You don't remember that?
I don't have a.
Are you kidding me?
I'm trying to think of it, and I don't.
Hold on a second.
I just don't have a recollection of it.
Oh God, it was massive. The Beirut, the 2020.
2020.
Okay, yeah.
3 years ago.
Beirut explosion, yeah. August 4th, 2020, a large amount of ammonium nitrate stored at the port of Beirut in the capital of Lebanon exploded, causing at least 218 deaths, 7,000 injuries, and $15 billion in property damage, US dollars, as well as leaving an estimated 30,000 people homeless. It left a crater.
I vaguely remember when you say the nitrate. I remember something about that.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
Well, like here...
Yeah, that's extremely volatile.
Like, okay, you see this rounded part?
Yeah.
It didn't used to be rounded. This was, it used to be solid land. It was a massive explosion. You can see.
I can believe it was the
like,
nitrate you're talking about.
It was gargantuan, yeah.
If you're storing enough there.
Oh, here's a picture of the actual explosion. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that. So, yeah. Anyway, 1916, addressing the Chamber of Commerce in Cincinnati, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson.
Oh, man.
Declared that the business of neutrality is over. The nature of modern war leaves no state untouched. So this is our admittance into, well, not our admittance, the warmongers who lead this nation and, you know, have been for the past century, if not longer, providing, you know, reason as to why we should get involved. So the sinking of the Lusitania, of course, was not a false flag. We had no, you know, well, we were, you know, declaring neutrality while siding with one side. That's, you know, our actions were not representing our words, or vice versa. Anyway, 1916, Greece declared war on Germany. So, World War One.
Yeah.
1917, the NHL formed when the Montreal Canadiens, Montreal Maroons, Toronto Arenas, Ottawa Senators, and the Quebec Bulldogs National Hockey Association disbands. So happy birthday, NHL.
Yeah.
The National Hockey League. While that was going on, the new government of Russia, the Bolshevik Soviets, offered an armistice to Germany and Austria-Hungary. So this was when Vladimir Lenin, you know, on his way to power, and, you know, one of the main platforms he used was getting Russia out of the war, which they did eventually. And I actually learned from a Discord server I'm in, this is when they actually offered this. It wasn't until March of the next year, 1918, when it actually happened.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, Lenin got Russia out of the war.
That's planting the seed, so to speak.
Yep. 1917, or actually 1918, the Podgorica Assembly voted for a union of the people, declaring assimilation into the Kingdom of Serbia. And that's after the First World War, so Austria, Serbia, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So then, you know, they absorbed. So whoever Podgorica was, who they represented, they became into Serbia. 1921, Danish composer Ruud Landgaard's Music of the Spheres, or Svastil's music, premiered at Konzerthaus in Karlsruhe, Germany. It was not performed in Denmark until 1969. So 48 years later. Wow. 1922, the first successful Technicolor movie, The Toll of the Sea, premiered at the Rialto Theater in New York City. Remember, like, I was talking with you about Alice earlier today. Alice and I, you know, kind of butted heads. She's like, no, it's the first Technicolor movie was
Doesn't matter.
No, the Dorothy, Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
No, it wasn't. Like, it has Technicolor aspects, yes, but
it's in Technicolor.
The entire movie is not.
Oh, well, yeah, no, it's black and white. Something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you want to be known as a Technicolor movie, a full Technicolor movie, you have to be fully Technicolor. And then we had a whole back and forth. Oh, but Wizard of Oz. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no.
I'm surprised it goes back to 1922.
Yeah.
But you got to realize the Wizard of Oz was done that specifically when she was in her real life. It was black and white. When she got knocked unconscious and went into a dream world, that was all in color.
Yeah.
So that's why the two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 1922, this is a big one. English archaeologist Howard Carter opened Tutankhamun's virtually intact tomb in Egypt.
You know, I'm amazed. You go to the Museum of London or England or whatever it is in London, the amount of artifacts they have from Egypt in there is staggering.
Well, you know, like as I was saying, you know, King Tut's tomb, you know, granted, for archaeological and scientific and all that stuff, you know, it was a massive thing. But the number one reason why it's so regarded is something that nobody really wants to admit. Because of all the loot. Because the British Museum, you know, came in there and they were the first to loot the hell out of that tomb. as the saying goes, the pyramids are still in Egypt because the British couldn't take them.
Well, that's my point. When you go to those museums, it's kind of shocking how much
they stole. Grave robbers.
Yeah.
It
doesn't belong in England. It'd be nice if you're not Europe, not India.
Egyptian?
Egypt, thank you. Lent it to them, but no.
No, they just stole it. Oh. 1924, Mongolian's People Republic was proclaimed. Okay. That's kind of concerning. People's Republic. Yeah. Is it really for the people, though?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever People's Republic, when buzzwords are in a political, title, that's when you got to raise an eyebrow. Oh. Yeah. 1934, Turkish regiments decreed importing family names. Okay. Whatever the hell that means. Let me do a surface level scratch on that. Turkish regiment decrees surname law in Turkey. Huh. Okay. It was adopted on June 21st in 1934. So before that, the law requires all citizens of Turkey to adopt the use of fixed hereditary surnames. Turkish families in the major urban centers had names by which they were known locally, often ending with the suffixes Zaid, Oglu, or Gil, and were used in a similar manner with a surname. Okay, so legal crap. I'm just going to add this in the under bar. If anybody wants to,
yeah. It was losing me way back there.
1940, Nazi Germany began walling off the Jewish ghetto in Warsaw.
I never knew they did that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you want to imprison a people, you build a wall around them. Reminds me a lot of a current thing that's happening actually right now. But anyway, 1941, amateur American tennis stars Bobby Riggs and Frank Kovacs turned professional after being suspended by the U.S. Lawn Tennis Association for undisclosed financial gain. So they got suspended, so they're like, screw it, we'll go professional, up yours. So, yeah. Okay. 1941, here we go. Japanese naval carrier force left its base and moved east towards Pearl Harbor. Mm-hmm. Here they come. December 7th is right around the corner.
Yeah.
1941 as well, Lebanon independence was first proclaimed by France. All right, I'm all for, independence.
Yeah.
I'm a staunch supporter of that. 1942, Casablanca. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Is that the same movie or is that something else?
That is the movie.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's known for that, but I don't know if that saying's actually in the movie.
Yeah, it's a Mandela effect.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, directed by Michael Curtis and starring Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman, premiered at Hollywood Theater in New York City, later to receive the Academy Awards Best Picture in 1943. That's another movie I gotta watch. So, classic. Mm-hmm. And then we got 1944, Heinrich Himmler ordered the destruction of Auschwitz and Birkenau crematoria. So...
He ordered the destruction?
Well, they're losing. 1944, they're pulling back.
Okay,
so, yeah.
You're hiding the evidence.
Yeah. Well, or so it's written.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the whole, thing saying there's no way. I'm not going to get into it, but, the Holocaust did happen, but, some argue that the numbers are too high. And I don't know one way for another, so I entertain all ideas, because I don't know. No. Just keep your eyes open, is what I'm saying, because you don't know. 1945, Charlie Bird Parker led recording session for the Savoy label marketed as the greatest jazz session ever with Dizzy Gillespie and Miles Davis.
Ooh, there's two biggie.
Yeah.
Two biggies.
Miles Davis, I know the name of.
Dizzy Gillespie? Oh, he's a big one.
Never heard of him.
No?
No. Or Charlie Bird Parker. I know of Larry
I'm not
Bird.
familiar with.
Yeah. 1945, during a snowstorm, a school bus crashed, killing 15 in Washington, I believe, state. So, back in the day, snow days, you still go to school, and sometimes you died on the way. So, or coming back home, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, this is why snow days were a thing, and now we're in the age of technology. Now snow days are once again becoming not a thing because you can go on to school in your home. So,
if you have a computer.
Yep. 1948, the first Polaroid camera was sold for $89.79 in Boston at the Jordan Marks department store. The Land camera, Model 95, became the prototype for all Polaroid Land cameras for the next 15 years.
Yeah, that was an expensive camera back there.
Oh, yeah. Now, here's the thing. The primary use of the Polaroid camera, as legend says, to my knowledge, and I actually personally will take this as fact just because of how much I know about humanity. The primary use of the Polaroid cameras was for pornography, specifically of your significant other. Because prior to then, you had to go get your film developed, and the last thing you want is pictures of your, naked pictures of your wife of your honey or of yourself being seen by some guy in a red room. So this is when the stash started. Take nude pictures, Polaroid it, you got it. Nobody else sees, nobody knows.
And I remember as a kid, obviously way later than 1948, but not that much later. He brought a Polaroid camera around. He said, "God, you got to check this out." Took a picture of something, not pornography, obviously.
Yeah, well.
But took a picture, and then the picture popped out the bottom of the camera, blank.
Yeah.
And we waited for it to develop on its own. Mary's going, "Oh man, are you kidding me?"
It's still remarkable.
Yeah.
It
was unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, the science
it had
behind
to be
it.
early 50s somewhere.
Yeah. Well, this 48 is when it first came out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
1949 CFL Grey Cup Varsity Stadium, Toronto. Montreal Alouettes defeated the Calgary Stampeders 28-15 for their first championship. I guess the Stampeders got stampeded.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. And that's why, the Stampeders, they didn't live up to their name, so that's why I put that in there. 1949, the Constituent Assembly of India formally adopts a new constitution. Okay, cool. 1950, China entered the Korean conflict, sending troops across the Yalu River.
Yeah.
Yep. 1952, the first 3D feature film, Blonde Devil, directed by Arch Obler, premiered in Los Angeles, advertised as the miracle of the age, a lion in your lap, a lover in your arms. Well, I wouldn't want the first one.
Yeah, just going back real quick to the China thing and going across the river. Correct me if I'm wrong, you know more about history. They chose to go into Korea and defend as opposed to taking Taiwan.
You're correct. Yeah. Because if they, even if they had taken Taiwan, when we were done mopping up in Korea, then we just come in and take Taiwan back. So by coming in and interrupting us in our game, they at least ensure North Korea would be a thing, not knowing what the future would hold, but still.
Yeah.
But the first feature length 3D film, in '52, that's pretty wild. So 1953. Yamada Kun, leader of Sanbo Kaiden line of Zen, found first awakening. Okay? So, like Zen, Buddhist or whatever, like something like that.
Yeah.
So, leader of that, he founded the first awakening. That's, pretty cool. 1956, U.S. weightlifter Charles Vinci won the Bantam weight gold medal at the Melbourne Olympics with world record 3 lift, snatch, clean, and jerk, and overhead press, total of 342.5 kilograms. Snatch, clean, and jerk, overhead press. That sounds like something when taken out of context.
No. Clean and jerk, yeah, that comes up off the floor, and you flip it up and drop your legs into a crouch, and then you go up with your whole body.
Well, I know, but clean and jerk,
No. Anyways, bantamweight is also a very small guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to get the dirty joke in here. So.
And I'm explaining the whole technique for clean and jerk.
Now who's being an Alex?
I should know that was coming from you immediately, see?
1956, the TV game show The Price is Right, hosted by Bill Cullen, debuted on NBC. Yeah, The Price is Right.
I remember that as a kid.
Yeah. And while that was going on, the USSR coxless pears skull rower, so that's his name. Oh wait, no, that's not his name. That's the name of the position or whatever. Coxless pears skull rower Viktor Ivanov won the Olympic silver medal. In his excitement, he dropped his medal. It sunk in Lake Wendorance in Victoria, Australia, and was later recovered by a local teenager. Wow. Now, once again, dirty joke, coxless pears.
I was waiting for that, yes.
Well, actually, this wasn't Alice's idea this time. This was me. She found this. Like, I actually had, unintentionally not seen it.
Oh.
So, chances are I would have put it in, but I have to,
give credit where credit's due.
Yeah. I'm not the only one with a dirty mind here, so don't always assume that I'm the dirty one. Alice is just as bad, maybe worse than me, 1960, Minneapolis St. Paul Baseball Club took the name the Twins.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, the good old Minneapolis Twins. 1961, Pro Baseball Rules Committee voted 8-1 against legalizing the spitball. What is the spitball?
Oh, you don't know?
Well, kind of, but let's see. A piece of paper that has been chewed and shaped into a ball for use as a missile. Oh, well, that's something else. An illegal pitch with a ball moistened with saliva or another substance to make it move erratically. Okay, yeah.
Generally, they didn't spit on it, although they could if they get away with it, but wet their fingers, or later they had a wet sponge or something behind it, and they would sneakily, so yeah, and then it could slip and you could make the ball do all kinds of things.
Yeah. So, yeah. 1965, France launched their first satellite, a 92-pound or 4-kilogram A1 capsule, Asterix, named after the popular French comic character. All right, France's first satellite. That's pretty cool. 66, we have the first major tidal power plant opened at Rance Estuary, once again in France. So a tidal power plant using the tides, the ebb and flow to use.
Absolutely.
Why are we doing more of that today?
We should be, because there's a lot of energy in there.
Because, like, okay, you look at solar panels. Okay, that only works during the day if it's sunny.
Yeah.
You look at wind. That only works during the wind. The tide is always there.
Going in and out.
Yeah, constantly. No matter what weather, no matter the tide is always there. So, bread comes in, toast comes out. You can't explain that. According to good old... Remember, water comes in, water comes out, his analogy or whatever he did?
Yeah, I can't remember. But I got you.
Yeah. He did it turned into a meme. Anyway, 1967, Browns' Carl Ward set club record with a 104-yard kickoff return. That sounds pretty big.
Yeah.
Oh. While that was going on, and this one, I wanted to bring this up earlier, actually, and this is, what the hell is a cloudburst? 1967, a cloudburst over Lisbon killed about 450 people. What the hell happened?
Cloudburst?
What
flooding or something like that?
What is a cloudburst?
Well, a cloudburst, to me, is huge torrential rain.
What is a cloudburst? A cloudburst is an extreme amount of precipitation in a short period of time, you're correct, sometimes accompanied by hail and thunder, which is capable of creating flood conditions. Cloudbursts can quickly dump large amounts of water, like 25 millimeters of the precipitation corresponds to 25,000 metric tons per square kilometer. That sounds like a lot.
So a lot of drownings is what it was.
It's basically a cloud just, having diarrhea.
And then the water has nowhere to go. It accumulates too fast.
Yeah.
Can't go away, and then people drown like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Damn. 1968, the 34th Heisman Trophy was awarded to O.J. Simpson of Southern California, running back.
How can you skip 66 Canadian football?
So where? Oh,
right
okay.
There. Right.
Oh, here. 66.
It's Canadian.
CFL. Well, that's why I skipped it. CFL Grey Cup, Empire Stadium in Vancouver. Saskatchewan Roughriders won their first championship, defeated Ottawa 29-14.
In my birth town.
Okay. Well, hold on a second.
And you skipped it.
All right. Okay, Mr. Crybaby.
Nobody cares.
1966.
Never cared about Canadian football.
Well, hold on. I'm adding it to the script right now, and now it's going to be forever entombed in the annals.
Why isn't it highlighted?
Okay, now you're asking for too much. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, no, O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I
love it.
Story.
No, don't be sorry. It's fun. 1968, rock band Cream gave their final concert at Royal Albert Hall in London, England, but reunited briefly for a short tour in 2005.
And they played, they played years later at the hall again, Royal Albert Hall. They got together when they were old.
Well, was that the 2005 that I just mentioned?
No, it would have been, well, maybe.
Yeah, right there. They got together for a short tour in 2005.
Yeah, they did it once, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were one of my favorite groups at the time.
Huh. 1 year after that, 1969 lottery for Selective Service Draftees bill signed by President Nixon. Oh, ugh. Draft. Vietnam. Oh. And that was around the time where they reduced the draft from, or increased it from, or they did something with voting, like, voting used to be you had to be 21, and they reduced it to 18 because you
yeah.
could get drafted at 18.
Yeah, you could drive.
How the hell could you get drafted and fight and die for a government that you have no voice in?
Yeah,
You know?
well, that was the point.
Yeah.
Hence the change.
Yep. 1970, in Base Terre, Guadalupe, 1.5 inches or 38.1 millimeters of rain fell in a single minute. Talk about a cloudburst. The heaviest recorded rainfall in history.
Wow.
Wow. That's a weather diarrhea right there. So, 1972, NFL New York Giant place kicker Pete Gogolak scored a team record 8 points after touchdown in 62-10 win over the Philadelphia Eagles at Yankee Stadium, New York City. Ouch.
By the way, good pronunciation. Gogolak, you nailed it.
Oh, I
You
trying.
definitely nailed it.
Unintentionally, but cool. Woo! 1973, Nixon's personal secretary Rosemary Woods told a federal court she accidentally caused part of the 18.5-minute gap in a key Watergate tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sure, lady. Oh. 1974, approximately 140 people died when the suspension bridge collapsed in Nepal.
Ooh.
Yikes. 1975, Boston Red Sox center fielder Fred Lynn became the first rookie of the year, or first rookie ever to be named American League MVP. All right. While that was going on, U.S. federal jury found Lynette Fromm guilty of attempted assassination. But who was she trying to kill?
Good question.
Being convicted of attempted to assassinate President Ford. Oh, shit. She received a life sentence during her imprisonment. Fromm escaped from prison and, as a result, received extra time due to her sentence after her capture 2 days later on December 26, 1987.
No, of course.
All right.
I forgot all about that. She had a very Squeaky Fromm. That's what her name was, Squeaky Fromm. Holy cow! Even when you read it, it didn't ring a bell.
Well, that's why we do this show.
Yeah.
You know. And speaking of people in prison, something I learned about, and was it Derek Chauvin? You know, and I don't want to get into all of that. You know, the police officer. You know.
Okay, go ahead.
Floyd.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, he got shanked or something in prison recently. He's now in critical condition.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's what Alice told me. I don't know. So.
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it. Yeah. 1976, British punk rockers, the Sex Pistols, released their debut single, "Anarchy in the UK." All right. And Alice made a note. They didn't have Robbie Rotten, or was it Robbie Rotten? It was somebody else. They have some other guy, Steve Jones. He was part of the Sex Pistols. I don't know. But she made a comment about how the lead singer or whatever wasn't up there and how this random guy was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But she's right.
1976 as well, East Germany stripped singer-songwriter and poet Wolf Biermann of his citizenship while he toured West Germany. That's a bitch move. You know?
I wonder why they did that.
They didn't have the balls to do it to his face. You know?
I don't know.
Cowards. 1977, Vrillin, claiming to be the representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, I remember this, took over Britain's Southern Television for 6 minutes at 5:12 p.m. local time. So, but yeah, no, like there was very much like I think it was later on, the whole Max Headroom incident I told you about.
Yeah, I remember that.
Somebody hijacked the British broadcast, not the BBC, but a British broadcast.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I am Verilian of the Ashtar Galactic Command. You need to toss away your nukes, blah blah blah. Otherwise, you will not be invited into the Galactic Senate or something like that. Like, it was really wild, and some people believed it because of reasons.
Well, it looks like a flash news. This is happening right now.
Well, no, like it was hijacked by an extraterrestrial.
Oh, okay.
Like they believed it was an actual alien or some people, and it might have been. Who knows? I don't think they ever found the guy. I'm not sure. No. 1978, 10 die as a fire erupted at a Holiday Inn in Rochester, New York. That's not fun for a hotel. No. 1978 as well, we had the first lesbian, female, gay themed TV movie, A Question of Love. So, giving everybody their, representation and all that stuff. This is the first lesbian themed TV.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah. 1979, International Olympic Committee voted to readmit China after 21 years. Bad move.
Yeah,
Bad move.
Was it ever?
You know,
was it ever?
Yeah. Doing anything working with China in any way, any level, leads to what we're going through today. Like, instead of them learning how to work with us, we end up becoming their slaves. Okay, yeah. 1979, twins John Castino and Jays Alfredo Griffin tied for American League Rookie of the Year. And I had a stoner moment last night, but it's not entirely a stoner moment. I put in a note, Minnesota Twins or Twin Twins. And then I looked at the name, Castino and Griffin. Okay, they're two different families, but there is now, obviously these guys aren't twins, but there is a possibility. There has been examples of twins separated at birth.
Sure.
Some go, one goes with this family, one goes with that. But the possibility of them being separated and somehow finding each other, not just in baseball but Major League Baseball, and they're both Rookie of the Year. Like the chances are slim to none. So obviously they're not like twins, but they're Minnesota twins.
They're playing on words.
But still,
words.
I like to entertain the idea of possibilities.
Strictly entertainment.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on up to 1982, Howard Cosell called for his last fight after being disgusted by Larry Holmes' the Tex Cobb mismatch.
Disgusted?
Disgusted. That's what it says.
Yeah. What does that mean?
I don't know. Apparently, it's also called a mismatch.
Well, apparently, Larry Holmes annihilated him, so to speak, in the ring.
All right. Well, that's probably why he was disgusted.
Yeah,
he wasn't.
That's why it was his last fight.
Yeah, like he.
But disgusted is not the right word. Maybe he's disgusted at himself for his performance. Anyways, go on. Who cares?
Oh, well, they do.
Yeah.
1983. And I think this might have been, the video I had spoken about like yesterday or whatever, about like a really big heist where like the money has not been found. Like 3 people in the crew have been found, but 1 or 2, and one of the 2 might even be a fictitious made-up person, or be somebody else. But at least one person made off with the money is probably now in Tahiti. The world's greatest robbery, 26 million pounds sterling worth of gold, diamonds, and cash stolen from Matt Brinks. We know about Brinks armored cars. Warehouse at Heathrow Airport, England.
Whoa.
26 million pounds, and not pounds like the Euro dollars. Weight of pounds.
Oh, I was thinking of it in money terms.
No, sterling, worth of gold. So 26 million pounds of gold.
No, 26 million pounds sterling.
Sterling. Okay.
So it's the money value.
Yeah. Okay. You're right.
Worth of diamonds and gold and everything else.
In cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's still a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
$26 million heist.
And
even more than that in dollars.
Yeah.
Especially back then.
Yeah. 1984, after 518 goals in 14 years with the Montreal Canadiens, Guy Lafleur retired abruptly.
There we go.
All right. And we have another. So, and Alice pointed this out. We actually, and this is going to bring up a good question. I'll bring it up after this. We also have in 1984, John W. Mercom Jr. announced New Orleans Saints are set up for sale for $75 million. Mm-hmm. What a paltry amount.
Well, that's nothing today.
Whoever
bought it was worth a heck of a lot more than that now.
Well, it ain't nothing to us in any year.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But this is what I'm talking about. 1984, in your favorite sport of all time, Kim Hughes tearfully resigned from the Australian cricket captain.
Ooh.
Now, Alice said, we have 2 retirements. No, this guy retired, this guy resigned. So what's the difference between retiring and resigning?
Well, obviously he had an active contract or something and he resigned from it. That'd be the difference.
Okay. So his time wasn't up, but he was pulling out.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's, cause that was a legitimate question. What is the difference?
Or, it could be a number of things. They could be, you can either resign or we're firing you, so he resigned. It could be a number of things. But generally they're still under contract. This would be the big difference.
Okay. Well, question answered. Thank you. Let's see here. 1984 as well, U.S. and Iraq reestablished diplomatic relations. Probably not last that long, because we invaded them, and then we did it again. Yeah. Well, we were also, yesterday during the history show, Gorbachev ordered Iraq to get out of Kuwait, but that was in 1990. So, 1985, Random House bought former U.S. President Richard Nixon's memoirs for $3 million. Yeah, so Nixon's memoir. Yeah. Wonder who Random House was. They sound rather...
It's a big deal. They do a lot of collectibles and stuff. Well, I think they do auctions too.
Would those memoirs be in the museum that we went to recently? Question mark.
Well, I don't know if they sold them. I don't know who owns them now.
True,
but they could be. They still are a lot of personal memoirs and stuff like that there. So it would be a nice place. That's where they should be.
Yeah.
Now I don't know who owns them today.
Yeah.
It's like the Beatles had to eventually buy all their music back.
Yeah, that was
sad.
Well, freaking Michael Jackson, he was evil. Like he bought the rights to the Beatles or something, whatever.
Yeah. So I remember something about that, but not specifically.
Yeah. 1988, Pioneer 6's closest approach to Earth since 1965 launch, 1.87 million kilometers, I believe. So, all right. 1990, the first Billboard Music Awards, MC Hammer and Janet Jackson win. I couldn't give a tiddler's damn about Janet Jackson, but MC Hammer, it's Hammer time. Oh, you know? This was the first Billboard Music Awards, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why it's up there. Otherwise, I couldn't care less about the Billboard Music Awards.
I still don't care.
I don't, but it's the first one, so,
okay, recognize it.
We are a history show, so... 1990, Buffalo Bills became the sixth first-place NFL team to lose on the same weekend. Ouch. Whatever that means, I kind of understand it, but... They became the sixth first-place NFL team to lose on the same weekend.
Okay. Kind of confusing, but whatever they mean, fine.
Also in 1990, Matsushita purchased MCA for $6.6 billion. What? Okay, what is MCA? Will retain a 20% interest. When the news of the imminent deal circulated last week, Wall Street reacted unfavorably, pushing Seagram's stock down 17% for the week to $26.50 on Friday. So whatever this is, MCA, Entertainment Giant.
Yeah.
Okay, this was a major thing. I don't have a clue about what this is. All right, well, I'm just going to add this link in the underbar, and I know this is from the New York Times, and I don't know, whatever. Oh, if anybody wants a better source, go look for it yourself. I'm doing a show here, people. I can't provide everything. 1990. Oh, yeah, I was just telling this.
Yeah.
Mikhail Gorbachev told Iraq to get out of Kuwait, so it wasn't yesterday. It was coming up. I was just remember what the research writing what we were doing yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah. So here we go. More of this. And we're going to be talking about that event again here in a minute.
Kind of a side note for us. Before Iraq invaded Kuwait for their oil and whatnot. And it's a little gray area, you don't know exactly why, but our protocol over there, he interpreted as her giving him a green light to go ahead and do it. We wouldn't mind. So that's, I may not have it exactly right, but that's my understanding. That's where he kind of felt he could go in and do it. He was wrong, but...
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, the same day, same year, so while Gorbachev here was saying that, the U.S. proposed an addition to UN resolution that would require Iraq's withdrawal from Kuwait by January 1st. Well, I don't think you can think that we're playing around anymore. We're getting UN involved. We're the world stage. We ain't messing around.
Yeah, but guys like him, they didn't have a whole lot of respect for the UN.
Yeah.
It's toothless.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't toothless when we invaded.
Yeah.
He figured that out real quick. But he didn't learn his lesson, and we invaded it. Well, the invasion of Iraq in 2003 was completely unjustified. It was completely a Saudi Arabian act, but whatever.
Of course, when he left, he set the whole oil well fields all on fire, and they go, "Oh, they're going to burn for 50 years. No one knows how to put it out." We came in and snuffed it real quick.
Yeah.
Which was, again, U.S. ingenuity, I think.
Kind of funny how we couldn't do that. The same thing with Centralia.
Centralia?
It's still burning today. This is Centralia.
That
bauxite coal, not bauxite, but a coal mine in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And what really pisses me off is the highway leading up to it. Visitors come, and they graffiti on the highway, and it was an art piece. Like, here, let me Centralia Highway. It was a beautiful, thing. Like, it's an artwork.
Oh, okay.
Now, here's the thing. It is privately owned.
The street?
The street.
Okay.
It's owned by a private. And you want to know something truly, like, I would argue, evil. The owner got tired of people coming in, and visiting, and it's a historical site.
Okay.
So what he did? He came in and he buried the damn thing in dirt. So buried.
Well, it's still preserved at least.
Well, it's
What's
preserved.
The big crack in it? Is that from the mining?
Well, no, because there's a massive, all the coal deposits underground are going to be burning for the next 500 years.
Yeah.
So there's
That's what I'm
cracking and all
asking,
that
so
stuff.
the heat and everything cracked it.
Well, yeah, but also natural, if you don't maintain a street, even with not using it, it starts degrading and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But essentially, this is what he did. He came in, he put dirt on top of it, and now it's this is what it looks like now.
Oh
Yeah, pardon my language, but whoever the owner of this is, you are a son of a bitch for doing this. I get it, it's your land, boo-hoo, cry, but it's a historical area, and for you to abuse your authority of it being your property to do something like that...
I'm amazed he didn't charge admission to make a buck.
Why not? Seriously,
Hey, I can make money off of this.
What an idiot. What an idiot.
Being facetious, and you ran with it.
Yeah, he's just being a piece of crap. Anyway, 1991, condoms were handed out to thousands of New York high school students. That sounds not good.
Yeah.
Pretty sure a lot of them are underage. What are you telling them?
Yeah.
That sounds kind of like a map action right there. In 91 in New York.
Well, it's naivete of the government. Well, we got to hand them out because we're not going to talk them out of it.
Well, no, I think they are trying to push society towards the way it is today. Gaslighting and manipulation. That's conspiracies.
Yeah.
Anyway, 1992, Sir Alec Jeffreys, British geneticist who developed widely used technologies for DNA fingerprinting, became an honorary freeman of the city of Leicester. Okay, so, but DNA fingerprinting and all that. So that's really big.
That's huge.
1995, Dolphins quarterback Dan Marino set an NFL record with 343rd touchdown pass. All right.
Yeah.
And according to Alice, he got screwed over by his teammates or something. I don't know much.
Marino was a great quarterback.
Yes, he was.
So I don't know what she was talking about, but she's probably right.
1996, baseball owners approved interleague play 26-4.
Yeah. The American League, National League was totally separate, divided. And it was a shame because, it was great American, like Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
You'd never see him out here on the West Coast.
Oh.
Because we're in different leagues.
That's not cool.
Yeah. And they wouldn't see Willie Mays. All-time great legend, So they intermixed it, and they don't play a whole lot, but at least you'll get. At least you get
to see them. Yeah. That's the whole point. All right. 1998, Tony Blair became the first Prime Minister of the United Kingdom to address the Republic of Ireland's Parliament.
Okay.
Cool.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. And 1999, I put this in for Alice, who's not here. Steve Yzerman scored his 600th career goal, an NHL legend.
Yeah.
Good old hockey gal talking about hockey without her being here.
Hey, she's making bank. Good for her.
Yeah, well, she needs some time off.
Yes, she does.
She finally, though, I believe she finally brokered a deal to get every other Sunday off, at least. It's something, but there needs to be more. No. Anyway, 2003, India accepted Pakistan's offer of a ceasefire in Kashmir. Okay. While that was going on...
That's huge.
Yeah. Supersonic airplane, the Concorde, made its last ever flight, returning to Bristol, England.
Oh, it's last ever, because I'm looking at the date going, wait, that's way too late. I thought they were going to say a maiden voyage.
No.
One. Yeah,
we spoke about its maiden voyage like a week ago.
Oh, true.
Yeah. 2004, Rizua school massacre. A man stabbed and killed 8 people and seriously wounded another 4 in a school dormitory in Rizua, China. Yikes. Oh. 2006, the last international rugby match before demolition of Dublin's famous Lansdowne Road Stadium in Ireland's 61-17 win over the Pacific Islanders. Well,
your grandfather played rugby.
Oh yeah. Well, he was also a boxer. Great grandfather. You're my grandfather.
Well, yeah.
By technicality.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're also my dad because you raised me since essentially birth.
Adopted you.
Yeah. from within the family.
Yeah.
So
not only raised you, but adopted you.
Yeah. So I didn't move family trees. I just went up while retaining my position. So now, like, hey, who else can say that their birth mother is also their sister and their brother is their nephew? I mean, it doesn't help that I was born in Tennessee. No incest was involved, but imaginations run wild when I tell people about that.
I wonder where in Tennessee you were. I don't know.
Well, I don't want to dox myself, but I know where.
Okay, tell me later. I forgot.
Yeah, some little bodunk town or something along the river. Anyway, 2006, we got that one. 2008, terrorist attacks in Mumbai, India. 10 coordinated attacks by Pakistan-based terrorists killed 164 people and injured an additional 250 plus in Mumbai, India. So kind of like a mini Tet offensive happening going on right there. 2010, Christopher Hitchens and Tony Blair debate, is religion a force for good in the world? And a monk debates, Toronto, Canada. That is a very good question. Yeah.
Hitchens, I think now is I see him on TV once in a while. He's kind of over here in the U.S. now.
All right, but see, I was thinking about maybe having that debate in the Peanuts, maybe the Rumble Peanuts, because like, is religion a force for good? If you need religion to be a good person, then you're not a good person,
I'm not going there.
Well, no, like, if you're not by default a good person, if you need something to guide your life, to force you to act a certain way, then you're going against your nature. If you're a good person by nature, you just so happen to coincide with religion, that's something else. But then also you come across things like the Crusades and jihads, and things like that. Like, it was a religious war using the guise of God and good versus evil for a European money and land grab. Essentially, that's what all the Crusades were. Like, the Europeans and the Arabs fighting over land, to who controls this, and they use religion as a validation. So,
but I just disagree the way you're interpreting religion for people in general. But go ahead.
Well, if you're not a good person, you're not a good person. If you require outside sources to dictate your life,
the community of religion isn't to convince people to be good. It's the community of people that are good that have formed a religion, so to speak.
Well, then,
it's the opposite of what you're.
Well, then why does, like, for example, and I know we're getting off topic here, but let me just say this: like, why, for example, things like the Spanish Inquisition, they came out, if you're not Catholic, you're going to hell. Now you're giving me fear.
Talking something else. You're talking something entirely different.
But then, with that, is it a force for good? Well, in that situation, no. So. But anyway, we'll probably have a whole discussion on the peanut, which is coming up later today, actually. Anyway, 2011, NATO forces in Afghanistan attacked a Pakistani checkpoint in a friendly fire incident, killing 24 soldiers and wounding 13 others.
Doesn't sound very
Whoops.
friendly.
Well.
Friendly fire means something else.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's a major whoopsie-doodle.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah. 2012, 10 children were killed and 15 people were injured after a Syrian government jet dropped a cluster bomb on a playground.
Ew.
Wow.
Yikes.
Wow. That reminds me when a certain U.S. president bombed a children's hospital or drone struck a wedding, Oh, but, yeah. 2012, the cost of Hurricane Sandy to New York was announced to be $32 billion. Yikes. Yeah. 2013, due to a street tirade captured on video, Alec Baldwin's show Up Late with Alec Baldwin was canceled after only 5 episodes. And, Alice and I, we actually saw that tirade, and he's a notorious hothead.
Yeah.
I don't really know much. Me, I don't give a tiddler's damn about actors, really, for the most part.
Yeah.
But, Alec Baldwin might actually be facing charges again after his murder. And, call it what you want. I call it a murder because I don't care if you're holding a gun. And I don't care if it's a Remington revolver or a Nerf Spitfire. If you're holding any form of a firearm, don't point at the business end at anything you don't want to destroy. Now, when you're filming a movie, okay, I understand, bend the rules a little bit, but he pulled it. He pointed the gun and pulled the trigger off camera and killed somebody. So, that's my stance. He's a murderer. So, yeah. Anyway, that's probably going to come back and bite me in the ass legally, but I don't care. I will fight to my dying breath with my stance. You know, you got to respect firearms, period. You know. Plus, there's also the aspect of, you know, it having been used for target practice. You know, the armorer was not good either. You know, so the whole situation is. Anyway, 2015, UK nonprofit Raspberry Pi released its $5 Zero computer, sold out in a day. And I remember the Raspberry Pi, kind of, sort of.
Never heard of it.
UK nonprofit Raspberry Pi. It was like an operating system or something. Let me look this up here really quick. A UK-based charity with the mission to enable young people to realize their full potential through the power of computing and digital technology. So it's more than just a piece of technology. It's actually a whole movement thing. So, yeah. Gonna add that in here.
Cool.
Yeah. 2017, factory explosion in Chinese port city Ningbo killed at least 2, injured 30, and flattened buildings. And, you know, like, as I said, every death is a tragedy. But with the damage it did, flattened buildings, and only 2 people died, that is very unusual.
Yeah.
2017 as well, presidential elections held in Honduras with allegations of electoral fraud and resulting violent protests. That sounds kind of topical for today. 2018, Chinese scientist He Jiankui claimed to have made the first genetically edited baby. Of course, China to do something like that. I mean, don't forget, China took blood and DNA samples of all the world's athletes during the last Olympics in a program to create super soldiers.
Really?
Yeah. Like, it is documented they took, you know, because, you know, the athletes, they're the best of the best of the best.
Yeah.
And what better basis can you have for soldiers than incredibly athletic people by
You're talking
genetics?
about anybody from all countries came in and had to give blood?
Well, because it was mandated to have a certain thing into you because of something going on plaguing the world. People were forced to get a certain chemical put in their body, and while they're getting under the needle, you know, extract some DNA, extract blood. You know, they did it. It's documented. China, the Chinese government took DNA from most, if not all, of the world's top athletes in their human, you know, genetic, you know, science to create a human. You know.
Okay.
And right there, you know, genetically edited baby, 2017. You know, so that, or 2018. Horrifying, absolutely horrifying.
Yeah, that part is.
We also have 2018, the first multi-drug randomized controlled trial to treat Ebola started in Democratic Republic of Congo, announced by the WHO. Oh, there we go again.
WHO, boy, you can't trust them.
No. I talk about being in China's pocket, or whatever. 2018, General Motors, aka Government Motors, announced it will close 5 factories in North America, cutting 14,000 jobs. And this is why I keep saying these big we got to stop with these big companies. I mean, it's cool and all, but like, if something goes down, we are losing thousands or tens of thousands of jobs. And then now what are they going to do? Suddenly, boom, you have 14,000 unemployed people. What do you do with that on top of the problem that already we have? If we stop with these big businesses, so that way, if that doesn't happen, you know, we got to get back down to the mom and pops. 2018, NASA's InSight mission land on Mars after a 7-month voyage. All right. 2018 as well, a third of the species began dying, 23,000 over a 2-day period. The spectacled flying foxes unable to survive a heat wave of 42 degrees Celsius in northern Queensland in Australia.
Wow.
So 1/3 of the species, of the whole species, dead. Wow. Yeah. 2018 as well, Ukraine declared martial law in areas bordering Russia after Russia seized 3 of its naval vessels. You know, and this was during, you know, Orange Man's reign, so they didn't do any military things until we had Neville Chamberlain in office.
What's Orange Man's reign?
Well, his presidency. 2016 to 2020.
Okay.
So this is 2018. Russia was just picking at Ukraine, but they weren't going to do anything because Orange Man would actually do something about it. Not that I'm a supporter of his, I'm just saying what other people would say, and what is facts? What is facts? You know, like I
was confused with Orange Man, but now I've got it. So,
well, who else is Orange Man?
I didn't know who you were referring to initially.
2019, a 6.4 magnitude earthquake centered on Honduras strikes Albania with at least 51 killed and hundreds injured. Or struck Albania. 6.4 is nothing to sneeze at. So, 2020, just 3 years ago, Turkey gave life sentences to 337 military officers and others involved in the 2016 coup d'etat.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. 2022, 2,500 people posed naked for photographer Spencer Tunick on Australia's Bondi Beach to raise awareness of skin cancer. But the distance you have to be to get all 2,500 in, you can't even tell they're naked anymore. So what are you doing? You know? Like, unless you know they're naked, you just see a whole bunch of people. And I'm not even going to look it up to prove myself right or wrong. I don't want to accidentally see a whole bunch of nude people. It's gross. 2022, last but not least, a large mudslide after intense rain tore across Italian island of Ischia, killing at least 8 people on an island where 50% of the houses were illegally built. Oh, I'm pretty sure a lot of them fell down. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that'll conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. We don't just stream on YouTube or on Rumble. We are on BitChute. We're on Odyssey, although we only use Odyssey for the Peanuts, and I believe we're going to be using the Odyssey for several of our other shows. We'll figure it out. They have their own internal cryptocurrency system that dictates how much you can upload and all that stuff. Anyway, for your dose of past events daily, we stream almost every day at 11 in the morning Pacific Time, 12 noon Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander.
Golden Loon.
And you are you until you catch us tomorrow, or if you're interested in some whatever, talking about this and that, the Peanuts is coming up at 3 p.m. Pacific. Actually, between 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific Time. I think it's going to be 3. I'm not sure. But keep your eyes peeled for that. Yeah. So until you see us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles! Something flew into my eye.
Oh, really?
Yep.